Nottingham Forest have put in a bid for another Brazilian wonderkid. At this rate, we're going to have to change our name to Nottingham Rainforest. Welcome to Forest Fan TV. Good morning, good evening, or good night, wherever in the world you are. Whatever time of day you're watching this, hope you're having a fantastic day as the content continues on Forest Fan TV. I hope you're enjoying all the crazy rumors, transfers, links, and everything else that is happening. Welcome to video number 4, I think, of the day. What the actual hell? Apologies that there's so much content, but we want to keep you as up to date as possible. If you're enjoying the content, don't forget to give the video a quick like, subscribe to the channel if you are new for all your Forest content, and make sure you're following our Twitter accounts, in particular at FFTV High Press, because everything is on there, sourced and verified. So make sure you're following that right now. Guys, let's get into the news. We've got to talk to you. This is going to be a Brazilian episode. We're going to talk about both the Brazilians, the new bid coming in from Nottingham Forest for the wonder kid, the striker from Cincinnati, and we will give you an update on Gabriel as well. So let's jump into it, and let's start with the newest bid. Brenner, the Brazilian at Cincinnati, formerly of Sao Paulo, has been heavily linked with Nottingham Forest. In fact, Forest have put in a bid that has been rejected by Cincinnati, but it's a bid that's being countered back. Why? Because Brenner has gone on strike. He wants a move to the Premier League and European football really, really badly. The 23-year-old is a bit of a goal machine, having scored, I think, 26 goals in 60 appearances for Cincinnati. Before that, at Sao Paulo, he was banging them in as well. Look, a lot of you always want to know the stats, so let me give you a few headline ones. He's about 5'9". He's right-footed. Not the most skillful on the ball, not the strongest physically on the ball, but knows where the back of the net is and can bang a few goals in. He is eager as well. At 23 years old, we've spoken before about that age from 21 upwards, where Brazilians know they need to force a move if they want to make a career in Europe. This is the time for him. He's gained a bit of experience in the MLS, as we just mentioned with Cincinnati, but everyone knows that's a Farmers League. No disrespect to the American fellow Forest fans out there, but that's how we do look at things. We snub our noses down on anything that isn't Premier League. But this kid is looking quite likely to move because of the strike. We've seen it and we've mentioned it plenty of times so far this week, that when a player goes on strike, the likely outcome is that they end up forcing their move. So if he comes in, that's the 700th million Brazilian even we've signed this window, as my lights fall down, and he would slot right into what Forest are providing. Now the question has to start to be asked of how many foreign players can Forest actually field before they start to break some of the regulations in the Premier League. Fear not, we have that all covered. We will be fine. We can still bring him in. On top of that, the good thing is, well, he will need to be registered because he's over 21. So there will need to be some outgoings happening. And we'll bring you an update on the most likely one, which seems to be OBrien, where Forest are prepared to let him now go on a permanent basis, be it as a loan with an obligation to buy, with suitors such as Sheffield United and West Brom who are going to be interested. Likelihood is he could end up at Sheffield United because Berg, you guys all remember him from last season, looks like he's moving to Fulham or maybe Newcastle, and the dominoes start falling and cascading and you get that tsunami effect. So it's all kicking off. But back to this player, I kind of like him. I'll admit I don't know too much about him. I watch limited amounts of MLS. He has caught my eye occasionally, but he's not one that was ever high on my radar. But you could say that with the likes of Danilo, and we know how impressed we've all been with him. So with this one, we're going to have to trust the recruitment team. I know some of you may say that is a stretch, but when it comes to the overseas stuff that they've been looking at, so far so good. So on this one, let's back them. But get your thoughts in down below. Are you interested in the wonder kid? By the way, it's going to be a loan move with an obligation to buy again if we stay up in the league. Very similar to some of the deals, which we'll talk about in a second, that we're doing with Gabriel. So this one will suit all parties. If it doesn't go through, then he goes back to Cincinnati. So get your thoughts in and let's move on. The move for Gabriel is still on the cards and the deal still remains the same, where it will be a £1 million loan fee and then an obligation to buy if and when, no ifs, when Forest remain in the Premier League next season. So I prefer these type of recruitments. I really do, to some of the OAPs that we've been linked to, you know, with the Shelbys, with everything else, with Felipe, etc. I like these ones where they're young, they're dynamic, they're eager to get into these leagues and prove themselves. So these are the signings I like. But I get it. A lot of you are going to say we need experience in the Premier League to make sure we stay up. I get that. But look at the model that Brighton use, and look how Brighton bring in players that are unheard of from foreign leagues, South American leagues, etc., and how that's been working out for them. And I feel that Forest should be following that model rather than going for a Burnley-style model and just try to survive with Premier League experience and not look forward into what's coming in the future. Because if you think about it, those problems we currently have with the OAPs in our team, like Harriata, like Colcrap, like players like that, who we're going to be stuck with until their contracts run out. This is potentially what's going to happen with the likes of Shelby. He's got 2.5 years. I'm sure in 2 years' time, he's going to be worthless and we're going to have to run his contract out. So that's my worry in terms of the balance. Whereas where you're buying people like these Brazilians we've just spoken about, even if they don't work out fully, there's still some kind of ROI on it, as in a return on investment on what you spent. And you can, you know, sell them on and at least recoup some of the money, and you're not stuck with them rotting away in purgatory, waiting for their football career death. Hope that makes sense. Get your thoughts in down below. As we touched on earlier, OBrien looks set to be one of the ones who leaves because Forest are going to have to offload players to make sure there's room to register players. Now, the situation isn't as bad as some of you guys may think or are making out, because we've already got rid of Barde. By the way, he's doing very well at Sevilla. Biancone is out for the rest of the season. There's 2 spaces opened up already. Then you've got the likes of OBrien, who we just mentioned is going to go, and then Tuffalo going to Anderlecht, which is potentially on the cards. For me, I would veto that. If you want to know why, then go and listen to the transfer special we did yesterday and have a listen to what Ant was saying about how they cheated us back in the day in 1984 by bribing the ref. And for me, Anderlecht should be a full no-go for Nottingham Forest. I'm sure you guys who are, you know, older than 21, unlike me, can remember it. But let me know your thoughts down below for the more mature generation. Is that the politically correct way of saying it? Let me know how you feel about our club doing business with Anderlecht. I'm so interested to hear your thoughts on it. Or is it time to forgive and forget? It wasn't in Forest Ant's case, but let me know down below. But anyway, so those are going to be 4 spaces that are opened up. There could be 1 or 2 others. A lot of people are saying about Lyle Taylor and Cafu, etc. Don't worry about those. Whatever happens with them, they're not registered, so they're not taking up a position. So they're not having an impact on the size of the squad. They're just training, probably doing a lot of stuff with the, you know, the youth teams, etc. They don't impact it. There will still have to be 1 or 2 others going. There is talks that if Navas comes in, then Smith is going to be moved on, or at least deregistered from the roster to make space. So plenty of movement still to come, and we've still got nearly 30 hours left to go in this transfer window. It's going to be crazy. Okay, that's the update on new players coming in. We've still got a few more videos to piece together and bring to you. And what we're going to do, we're going to round all of this up because my head's been spinning all day. I'm sure a few of your heads have been spinning as well on this subject. We'll round everything up and wrap it into a neat little package. And we'll be doing a stream at 8:30 tonight where we're going to take your calls and your questions and we're going to run through and break everything down for you. Just on a side note as well, I don't want to bring this up because it's going to, you know, put me into tears, but MGW has been confirmed today as being out injured. What the length of that injury is, we don't know. I can't. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next video. Come on, you Reds.